This evening, police investigating river mishap involving two boats in Cayuni's river. Ministry of Home Affairs to implement stricter penalties for unpaid traffic offences, engaging Guyana Revenue Authority. Guyana National Road Safety Council implements Train the Trainers program to enhance road safety education in schools. In the region, Cuba sanctions sugar production grinding to halt, and internationally, Ukraine repels exceptional Russian missile drone attack on Kyiv. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for May 16, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, in a tragic incident on the Cayuni River, a river mishap involving two boats has left one person injured and three others missing. The mishap involved a 14-foot wooden boat powered by a 75-horsepower Yamaha outboard engine operated by Lloyd Obermuller, a 60-year-old laborer. The second boat was a 17-foot wooden boat powered by a 40-horsepower Yamaha outboard engine operated by Chris Boyd, a minor whose age and address are unknown. According to preliminary reports, Obermuller and Boyd are known to transport passengers between Ettering Bank Landing and St. Martin Landing in Venezuela. On the morning of the incident, Obermuller left Ettering Bank Landing with two passengers on board, heading towards St. Martin. At the same time, Boyd departed from St. Martin, heading towards Ettering Bank Landing. While navigating across the river around 4 a.m., the two boats collided, causing all passengers and operators to be thrown into the water. Public persons responded to the scene and rescued Boyd, who suffered severe injuries to his right leg and minor injuries to his hands. However, Obermuller and his two passengers remain missing. The search is ongoing to find them, and their identities have not yet been disclosed. The boats and engines involved in the incident have been secured at the Ettering Bank police station, while ongoing search operations are on the way to locate the missing individuals. In other news, the Ministry of Home Affairs has announced its intention to collaborate with the Guyana Revenue Authority to impose stricter penalties on road users who have not paid their ticketing fees. Minister of Home Affairs Robertson Ben emphasized the need for a robust framework of stringent penalties to hold individuals accountable for traffic offenses. Minister Ben expressed concerns about the accumulation of unpaid tickets and outlined plans to suspend license and impound vehicles for individuals who have yet to pay their fines after a certain number of tickets. Further, Minister Ben urged passengers to speak out against reckless drivers, emphasizing the importance of raising concerns when using public or private transport. He stressed the need for increased awareness of all levels and vowed to work harder to prevent road accidents and casualties. Meanwhile, Traffic Chief Superintendent Acting Dennis Stephen revealed that over the past 5 years, 147 pedestrians lost their lives, with 11 fatalities involving electric bike riders in the past 2 years. In the first month of 2023, 16 cyclists, including pillion riders, have already lost their lives. To further enhance safety, the ministry distributed 300 helmets to the traffic department for cyclist protection. The Guyana Police Force will also acquire an additional 300 wheel clamps to detain vehicles obstructing traffic flow. Also making the headlines, several teachers across Guyana will benefit from a Train the Trainers program through the Guyana National Road Safety Council, allowing them to incorporate road safety into their teaching sessions. The initiative is geared towards increasing awareness of the importance of road safety at the nursery, primary, and secondary levels. Coordinator of the Guyana National Road Safety Council, Ramona Dorgan, disclosed this on Monday. Dorgan further explained that the undertaking is part of a 3-component training program that targets teachers, police officers, and counselors from the various road safety councils in each region. Modules have already been developed with the assistance from teachers and other relevant stakeholders and will be incorporated into the school's curriculum. 61 teachers of Linden, Region 10, have already completed the program. Similar sessions will soon begin in other regions. This initiative is among several collaborations aimed at reducing and eventually ending road carnage. Stick around where we return. Movement for Unity and Democracy launch, promoting national harmony and democratic engagement and over 100 police recruits graduate, charged to uphold justice and serve with integrity.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. Here's Credit, and today we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhi go into the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a Guyana map.
Penalties has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Penalties, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Make Georgetown beautiful once more with the council that you choose. Keep the city bright for sure, and the heritage we don't lose, and the heritage we don't lose, and the heritage we don't lose. Vote the Independent Citizens for Progress for a better and beautiful Georgetown at local government elections in June.
Problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hi, Mr. Smart. Please stop a minute and just clarify this thing for me.
Oh, Sonel, don't tell me it's local government questions again.
Yeah, boss. How come the local government elections different from the general elections?
Okay, the local government election systems allow for half of the members of the council to be elected through the proportional representation system, just like general elections. And the other half will be elected through the first past the post system. This system allows for one candidate to be elected to represent the constituency where he or she lives. For example, if a council got 30 seats, like the Georgetown municipality, 15 will be elected through the proportional representation system, and the other 15 will be elected through the first past the post system, giving a total of 30 councillors.
So that means that every constituency will have one of its citizens who live there having a seat and representing it at council.
Yes, Sonel, that's correct. And if you need to know anything else about the electoral system for local government elections, just call GCOM. Take care, Sunil.
All right.
Monday, June 12, 2023 is Local Government Elections Day. For further information, contact GCOM or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. To foster unity and democracy in Guyana, the Movement for Unity and Democracy, a political initiative, was officially launched on Friday at the National Library in Georgetown. During the launch, Lynn Medford, the party's vice president, presented an overview of the movement's objectives and core principles, emphasizing the critical role of unity and democracy in Guyana.
The movement is adamant that every Guyanese should learn to be self-sufficient and patriotic. Again, we stand at these four main pillars today: good governance, accountability and transparency, power to the people representation, unity, and democracy.
Kieran Bruce, the founder and executive member, shared his inspiration behind the organization's establishment, shedding light on its origin.
The movement was founded with the goal of bringing people together once again and promoting constructive change that is necessary for the success of our country. We need to unite now, more than ever, for while we bicker amongst ourselves, we are distracted and we ignore the real issues that will affect us all, such as our unsecured border, the rapid extraction of our resources, and our environment, among other pressing concerns. It is time for us to remember the togetherness felt when Burnham and Chetty were on the same team fighting for Guyana.
Meanwhile, George Gonzalez, the party's president, addressed the audience, discussing the pressing issues hindering Guyana's progress, mainly focusing on racial and political disharmony.
I have personally seen that an issue between neighbors impacts the community more than an issue between the government and the opposition. I firmly believe that true change starts from the grassroots level. It is the people who live in our communities, those who truly understand the needs and the aspirations of said communities. Not the central government, but the residents living there themselves. That's why our vision revolves around empowering communities from a bottom-up approach. We must allocate expert help and these various tools from the outside to directly assist our nation's communities and to solve issues locally, rather than relying solely on the central government for every issue that comes along.
According to the manifesto, the Movement for Unity and Democracy promotes national unity, social cohesion, and participatory democracy in Guyana. It strives to provide a platform for all Guyanese citizens to engage in constructive dialogue and collaborate towards a shared vision for a prosperous and harmonious nation. In other news, 105 police recruits graduated from their initial training after 10 months of rigorous training and studying at the Police Forces Academy in Georgetown and Essequibo. The ceremony was held at the Officers Training Center, where Deputy Force Training Officer DSP Kevin London emphasized the responsibility of the recruits to protect, serve, and uphold justice. He also highlighted the importance of empathy, understanding, and building bridges of trust with the communities they will serve. The recruits were exposed to basic and essential principles of policing, practice and procedures, and various modules during their classroom sessions. Deputy Commissioner of Administration Calvin Brutus delivered the feature address. He urged the recruits to adhere to the standards of the Guyana Police Force and to display integrity in the execution of their duties. The ceremony also saw awards presented to the best graduating students, with Constable Isaacs being adjudged the best overall graduating student and the best graduating student of his course. Don't go away after the break. Somalia floods, more than 450,000 people affected in Bolivia, and Ukraine repels exceptional Russian missile drone attacks on Kyiv.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you want to know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a Guyana map.
Penalties has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Penalties, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Make Georgetown beautiful once more with the council that you choose. Keep the city bright for sure, and the heritage we don't lose, and the heritage we don't lose, and the heritage we don't lose. Vote the Independent Citizens for Progress for a better and beautiful Georgetown at local government elections in June.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Miss Anne! Miss Anne!
Oh, hi, darling.
Help me out with this thing, man. You just know everything. What's all this talk about local government election?
Local government refers to the mayor and councillors who manage the affairs of our towns, like Georgetown, and the chairman and councillors of the Neighborhood Democratic Council.
Oh, but why is that important to me?
Dolly, it is very important. Every day, local government officials make decisions that affects you, your family, and the community. They serve the people within the community in which they were elected.
Oh, Miss Anne, me don't understand all them big words you use there. Tell me what local government does do.
All right, Dolly. Local government is responsible for maintaining and protecting public property, like our community centers and the playgrounds, for collecting the garbage, maintenance of the streets, cleaning of the drains and the carpets, and so much more.
Oh, I now understand. Thanks, Miss Anne.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna show off for me friends them why I will vote at the local government elections.
That's a good thing. Let's go.
Monday, June 12, 2023 is Local Government Elections Day. For further information, contact GCOM or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Cuba was once in a unique position of producing more sugar than any other country in the world, but United States imposed sanctions have had a huge effect on production. Al Jazeera's Ed Agustin has more.
Every year in Cuba, from November to May, it's time to cut cane. Using harvesters built in Soviet times, the island's sugar industry is in decline. In the 1980s, it produced 8 million tons of sugar a year. Last year, it managed less than 500,000. But these workers now face more difficulties than ever before. This year, the cane is overgrown with weeds.
There's no herbicide and no fertilizer for the cane. You've got to feed the cane. If not, it doesn't grow well.
For this harvest, Cuba used 10 times less herbicide and fertilizer than 6 years ago. That's largely because in the last 6 years, unprecedented maximum pressure US sanctions have nearly bankrupted the island's economy. Sugar is part of Cuba's national identity. Cane was first brought to the island more than 500 years ago by the Spanish. Slaves were shipped here to cut it, and to transport cane to refineries, Cuba became the first country in Latin America to have railways. But scant cane deliveries mean this refinery, which was built to run continuously, is often shut down.
We've had to turn off the refinery quite a few times this last month because there's not enough fuel and things break when we turn it back on again.
And breakdowns are harder to handle when there's no cash.
Last year's harvest, 32 refineries were running. Now it's down to 23. There's not enough money for spare parts, and engineers here are now cannibalizing parts from out-of-use refineries to keep production going.
Cuba's national sugar company has indicated it's unlikely to hit this year's unambitious plan.
This is the first year that Cuba doesn't plan to export more sugar than it consumes.
This island, built on sugar, which once exported more than any other country, is heading for its worst harvest in more than a century. Ed Agustin, Al Jazeera, Cienfuegos, Cuba.
Internationally, at least 200,000 people in central Somalia have been displaced by heavy rains and flooding. The wet weather comes after a prolonged drought that has left millions of people on the brink of famine. Al Jazeera's Rahila Mohammed reports.
A bird's eye view of the Hiran region in central Somalia shows the extent of the damage. After days of heavy rain, the town of Beledweyne is submerged and countless homes swept away. The storms triggered flooding and caused the Shabelle River to burst its banks, forcing people to wade through rising water levels.
It was very difficult for me to walk this morning because of the amount of water. I used to be able to walk through it before, but as you can see, the level has reached my waistline, and this situation is getting worse.
Businesses, schools and hospitals are closed and public transport is disrupted. People say these are some of the worst floods they've seen.
These floods are different to others in the past. This flood is larger than any flooding in recent memory that has ever occurred in this region.
But for many like Fartun and her family, it's not the first time they've had to move.
Whenever the river bursts its banks, we flee. It's the 5th time I've had to flee and come here as a displaced person.
The United Nations is warning the flooding could increase the risk of waterborne diseases, and the government has yet to assess the full impact of the disaster.
It is a calamity. It was an unexpected disaster. However, we are doing all that we can to protect those who are affected.
Extreme weather patterns are worsening already difficult conditions for Somalis. The torrential rain follows prolonged drought, which has left millions of people dependent on food aid. The UN says displaced families need food and shelter, and fast. Rahila Mohammed, Al Jazeera.
And finally, Ukraine's military says it shot down 80 missiles launched by Russia at the capital on Monday night. Officials says the attacks were exceptional and involved cruise and ballistic missiles, as well as drones. Al Jazeera's Natasha Butler reports.
The sound of explosions over Kyiv, the night sky lit up by flashes. City officials say Ukrainian air defense systems intercepted dozens of Russian drones and missiles in the early hours of Tuesday. Mobile phone footage filmed by a resident shows the intensity of the attack.
We heard it all, even our windows shook. But thank God there were no missiles in our area.
My friends, my classmates and I, we heard it all. They were all worried, and one of my classmates' houses got hit. I think it's terrible.
The attacks came just hours after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky returned by train from a trip to Europe aimed at securing new weapons and support for an anticipated counter-offensive.
We are returning home with the new military help, newer and more powerful weapons for the front, more protection for our people, greater political support.
No one knows when the counter-offensive will begin, but Ukrainian troops are preparing. In the south of the country, mortar units say they're ready, but need more weapons.
We need armored personnel carriers the most, especially with the counter-offensive, because currently we use basic Jeep models which are not armored. An armored car would provide safety for our servicemen. That's what really matters.
Kyiv and its supporters hope that this counter-offensive will be successful. Since Russia's invasion, Ukrainian forces have exceeded expectations. Pressure is high, but the reality is that few believe that this push will be the last or will win the war. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Lviv, Ukraine.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV 2 headline news for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and in the evening at 7 for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.